Now, before we get to the celebrations of my 10-year anniversary, it's time to do a request. Something very appropriate for a month of romance. Oh, really? What ship is. Trixie! Yes? You look like you could use a vacation. Trixie does. Yes, 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 hun. You need to go on vacation. So, I and a few of the others around the studio have given you an all expense paid vacation to Exandria. Exandria? Trixie always wanted to go there. That's right. As a matter of fact, I'm going to send you straight towards the school where lovely Lady Allura is. Now, goodbye, have fun, and don't forget to bring me an autograph for Caleb. Bye! Well, goodbye. Trixie has no idea what she had done to actually earn this. Whoop! There. That ought to keep Trixie out of the studio for a while. Now, let's get this Twixie started, shall we? Because apparently somebody wants me to risk my life. You see, I want this to be clarified. I have no problem with Twixie. I love a good Twixie fic. But the Trixie at the studio, my boss, she does not like it when people pair her up with her greatest rival. It irks her. It irks her heavily. I don't know what it is that makes her mad about Twixie. But the moment you show it to her, she will start the killings. Quite frankly, I don't want to get electrocuted. Prologue. Twilight. Eyes on You. By Unlincensed Brony. And then Twilight was all like, bring it on! And the thing almost jumped at her, but she rolled out of the way, looked at her heart, and whoosh! A massive flame of fire washed over and sent them all red scared. The other two tried to catch her off guard, but Twilight was too quick for him. She kicked one of them in the nose so hard it flew back halfway across the clearing. Then she lifted up the other one, threw it into the air, and Twilight sighed. It seemed every time Rainbow Dash told a story, it had more magic and more wolves, and significantly more violence. To be honest, she had heard Rainbow's adaptations so many times, she was starting to lose perspective on what really happened. However, she was fairly sure she had never said, bring it on. Still, the school kids seemed to be enjoying themselves, and even Shirley was giggling at some of Rainbow's ridiculous imitations. When the knock came at the schoolhouse door, nobody but Twilight seemed to notice, so she slid silently away and answered it. Oh, hi, Applejack. What are you doing here? Sorry to be visiting you on visit today, Twilight, but the doc sent me. His ballerins are mayor. Twilight stepped outside and closed the door. Is it bad news? She asked hesitantly. No, it ain't that. I was just passing the doc of town, and she asked if I knew where to find you. Apparently, she wants you to head down to the hospital then and give her a hope of our patient. I wonder why you need my help, Twilight said, half to herself. Don't rather know, Applejack shrugged. Well, she did say you should head there quick, so I guess it must be something important. Okay, I'll head there right away then. Thanks, Applejack. No mention, Sir Cream. As the artist pony trotted out towards Sweet Apple Acres, Twilight opened the schoolhouse door and poked her head inside. Cheerily, I'm really sorry, but I had to leave early. Do you mind? Not at all, Twilight. The teacher pony said with a smile. Rainbow Dash seems to have things in hunt for a minute. I'll see you next Friday. Twilight turned to tell Rainbow Dash, but the Pegasus was far too busy, basking in the attention of her captivated audience to notice. The purple unicorn chuckled quietly and closed the door behind her. The sweet smell of trees and grass filled her nostrils as she set out down the path into town. Celestia's sun glistened beautifully in the cloudless sky and cast a slender shadow at Twilight's feet. Normally, it would have been a perfect day. Normally. But to be honest, she hadn't gotten much sleep over the past 2 nights. The gorgeous day, which she would have enjoyed gladly, just seemed to wash over her unnoticed. Still, she promised herself that tonight she would sleep like a baby, no interruptions or distractions. Though she supposed it would depend on what the doc needed her help with. Twilight didn't often get called to medical tent. When she did, it was rarely to receive good news. In fact, the last time she had been called there was when Applejack poisoned half the town with toxic muffins. Twilight, there you are! The voice snapped Twilight away from her thoughts. The hospital town Ponyville urgent care was in sight. Nurse Redheart, wearing her white hat with red cross, was waving in Twilight's direction. How is she? Inquired Twilight, glancing towards the tent as she spoke. The nurse's face suddenly became thoughtful, almost as if she wasn't sure how to answer the question. Well, She was abruptly interrupted by a yell from inside the tent. Where have you gone? Who is it that you're talking to? The great and powerful Trixie demands that you enter her. Twilight recognized the voice. She wasn't quite certain whether to smile in relief or shudder in foreboding. The last time she had spoken to Trixie was 5 weeks ago, or maybe 6. They hadn't exactly parted on the best of terms. The nurse cleared her throat. I've stabilized her wounds. She's on the road to recovery. However, she shot a look towards the tent. She's been rather vocal. Twilight nodded. Yeah, that's Trixie for you. Actually, she's the one demanding to see. That's why I sent for you. Me? Twilight wondered aloud. What does he want me to see me for? Aren't you two friends? Twilight scoffed. Ha ha ha! No. The two of us don't exactly see eye to eye. Oh, there's Redheart frowned. I just assumed, since you were the one who brought her in, you're the only one who came to visit her since then. Really? The only one? Twilight said evasively. Well, I suppose I was just concerned. I mean, it's not every day that a pony gets attacked by wolves, is it? The nurse nodded understandingly. And thank goodness for that. Listen, do you think you could do me a favor and talk to her? Of course, if you'd rather not, I'll understand. No, I could do it, Twilight said, raising a hoof and shaking her head. She pushed her away under the blue folds of fabric and stepped into the tent. The choking stench of antiseptic greeted her nose, prompting an involuntary gag. Well, it's about time you got back. The great and powerful Trixie was eerily silent as her eyes fell upon Twilight's face. Now see the go limp mid-sentence, and her gaze became unfocused and vacant. Twilight might have found it amusing if she hadn't thought that Trixie was having some kind of seizure. Are you okay, Trixie? She asked so weirdly. Trixie's left eye twisted in response. Mrs. Twilight was opening her mouth to call the nurse. The azure pony's face snapped back into focus. Twilight waited for a moment, expecting Trixie to say something. But she simply pursed her lips, turned around, and laid down in her thin medical bed. I knew it! Twilight thought to herself. Trixie was still obviously upset with her about the whole Ursa Minor incident, though Twilight was convinced there was no good reason she should be. After all, Twilight had only acted to protect Ponyville. Wasn't as he was trying to show Trixie up? Twilight sighed. Trixie probably wouldn't even believe that if she told her 1,000 times. So she decided to forget and let her curiosity do the talking for a while. So, Nurse Redheart said you asked for me? Trixie grunted. Humph! The great and powerful Trixie asked for the pony who brought her here. She didn't know it was you. Her tone was egotistical, scornful, and unkind at the same time. So, Trixie. But Twilight tried not to take offense. Trixie talked like that to everybody. Well, now you do, Twilight said strongly. So what did you want? Trixie thought for a moment before giving her answer. You'll explain to the great and powerful Trixie how she came to be here. Fair enough, said Twilight, striding over and sitting firmly on the grass next to Trixie. The sooner she got this done, the sooner she could get back to her nice, calm, Trixie-free day. Unlike Rainbow Dash, Twilight wasn't one for enhancing aspects of a story to make it more exciting. As such, she just recounted as accurately as she could. As she had heard Trixie's cry for help in the woods, and rushed to her aid. As he fought off the gang of wolves that were standing over Trixie's unconscious body, and as he had carried Trixie atop her back to this very tent in Ponyville. And you've been unconscious for about a day and a half since then, concluded Twilight. She put it back over in her head to make sure she hadn't missed anything, then nodded to no one in particular. You fought the wolves, muttered Trixie, so quietly she was talking to herself. For me. You're welcome, but I would have done it for any pony, Twilight said dismissively. It was an honest statement. Twilight would gladly put her life on the line for any fellow pony, even one as arrogant and unpleasant as Trixie. The great and powerful Trixie was not expressing gratitude, shouted Trixie defensively. She did not ask for your help, Twilight Sparkle, nor did she need it. One glance at Trixie's clawed cutie mark, and her cast-wrapped foreleg would be enough to tell anyone different. An angry heat welled up inside Twilight Sparkle, so quickly that she didn't have enough time to suppress her raised voice. As a matter of fact, I distinctly remembered you screaming help so loudly that I could hear it half across the forest! Trixie sat bolt upright and glared at Twilight. Twilight glared right back, just daring Trixie to lose her temper. It was probably not the wisest course of action, but oddly enough, Trixie backed down. She huffed loudly as if to say, "Oh, why bother?" and then turned around and laid back down on her bed. As the drawn-out minutes of silence dragged on, the air of tension began to dissipate. Twilight's temper slowly subsided as he wondered what came over her. What was he doing? This wasn't like her at all. She was supposed to be here to calm Trixie down, and here she was shouting at her. She never got that angry towards any pony, ever. Trixie was annoying, but not that annoying. "I'm sorry, Trixie," Twilight muttered. "I didn't mean to sound. I guess I've just been worried." "It's fine," Trixie interrupted. Twilight threw a questioning glance at the back of her silver maiden's head. "Is it?" asked Twilight, not sure if he had heard Trixie properly. The Azure pony nodded visibly in confirmation. "Oh well, that's good." The purple unicorn hid her surprise poorly. Trixie backing down from a challenge and accepting an apology? Maybe there was hope for her yet. Maybe her wounds had just taken a lot out of her, and she would be back to normal tomorrow. So, Twilight wasn't quite sure what to say from here. Dennis, did you want to talk about anything else, while I'm here? "No, that will be all," said the Blue Mare quietly. "Trixie will let the nurse know if there's anything else." Alright then. See you around, I guess." Trixie didn't offer a farewell. She seemed focusing on the empty bed across from her. Twilight got to her hose and made her way outside, still a little uncertain how to feel. "So how did it go?" asked the nurse hesitantly. Twilight considered her answers carefully. She seems calm now. I don't think she has any more questions. That was almost true. It was obvious to even Twilight that there was something else Trixie had been meaning to say. As to what it was, though, was anyone's guess. A sudden thoughtfulness spread across Nurse Redheart's face. "Twilight, I wonder, would you come over here for a minute?" Twilight gave a curious look as she followed the nurse to a spot several paces away from the tent. "What's the matter?" Twilight asked. Well, when the nurse had finished explaining, Twilight found herself something of a loss. Wait. Let me get this, see if I have this right. You want her to let her live with me? What? The nurse frowned and nodded. I know it's a lot to ask, Twilight Sparkle, but Trixie's recovery will be a long one. Frankly, it could be months, and I know from experience that... Her mouth kept moving, but Twilight wasn't paying attention. She was absorbed in her thoughts. Live with Trixie? That was the worst idea she ever had. Take care of her night and day? She didn't have time for that. Spend the rest of Celestia knows how long with her? That was simply preposterous. I'd love to! A few minutes later... Why did I say that? Twilight hit herself in the face with a book. She was levitating in the hopes that wake her up from a slowly lucid dream. It didn't work. No, Twilight. You're gonna hurt your head if you keep doing that. Twilight saw a long glance look at the concerned-looking pink-maned pony. She had a point. Besides, why would the book work the third time it had, or its first or its second? Maybe she needed something harder. Lucky for Twilight, Pinky saw her eyes fall to the dusty metal footlocker and decided to confiscate before the purple unicorn did anything drastic. Twilight sighed. A lean tower of books with small purple legs held into view. Spike hugged us and paused down next to the door with the rest. Why are we doing this again? I told you, Spike. Somebody's coming to stay with us for a while. We need to clear a room for her. Yeah, but you haven't really told me who it is. The dragon's eyes suddenly began to glisten like emeralds. Is it Rarity? Sorry, but no. Oh, Spike frowned sadly. Then who? Rainbow Dash? No. Applejack? No! Piggy exclaimed. Her huge excited eyes began starting to follow Twilight whole. No, no, and no! Twilight said loudly, shaking her head from side to side. It's Trixie. There was silence. They both gaped in shock. What was that, Twilight? muttered Spike timidly, his green eyes unblinking. Trixie, she repeated. She's coming to stay for us for a while. Meanwhile, I'm also having Nurse Redheart checked out in the mental ward in order to find out why she randomly asked a pony, like me, to take in Trixie for no apparent discernible reason. Yeah, Redheart, you don't do that with injured people. Why did you... I'm a big shipper. Oh. Okay. The two other others scoffed again. Pinky reached out slowly and pinned Spike's arm. Oh! He yelled, knocked out his face. What was that for? You were hoping you were asleep. Pinky smiled. I was trying to wake you up. Twilight considered asking Pinky to pinch her too. But, see, it hadn't worked on Spike, then there wasn't much hope for her. The baby dragon, still rubbing his arm, turned to Twilight. You're serious, aren't you? Why? Why would Trixie be coming to stay with us? The honest answer was, because my stupid mouth suddenly decided it was allowed to break the chain of command. But she didn't want to make it sound the situation had arisen because of a simple slip of the tongue, which the reality it had. Instead, she went for a more empathetic answer. Trixie is in a bad way, Spike. She needs a warm place to stay and a friend to help her out of... Friend? Spike repeated. When did you become friends? We're not. I don't even like her. Twilight could sense her face becoming flushed. She turned to Pinky for help. The party pony nodded understandingly. Placed her half-eaten cupcake on the floor and tried over to Spike. Spike, oh bunny, she said cheerfully, throwing her foreleg around his shoulders. Step this sling and I'll explain everything in a snap. She ferried him over to the corner of the room and began talking excitedly. Once upon a time, there was a pony. A pink pony called Princess Pinkamina. Twilight sighed in relief. She magically grasped a hoof-held mirror and held it in front of her. A wary purple unicorn stared back at her with a red blush slowly fading from her cheeks. Twilight frowned thoughtfully at the unicorn. She didn't not like Trixie. It was just that she could be a bit difficult to get along with sometimes. Or like all the time. Now that Twilight thought about it, they hadn't spent much time together since they met. Maybe an hour at most. This was enough time to judge somebody, and Twilight knew it. Maybe Trixie did deserve a chance. Twilight chuckled quietly. It would have been useful to have known that a moment ago. You didn't have it! Pinky's fizzed loudly. So, you understand now, right? Spike looked at part stunned, part angry, and part hopelessly confused. Pinkie Pie, you just recited a recipe for making chocolate fudge cake. How was it supposed to help? Spike! The two ponies, exclaiming in a scolding tone. The fiery dragon went red. Sorry for the language, he said quietly. What does look good? He didn't say anything about why Trixie has to stay here. Ah! Pinky rolled her eyes as if Spike was being dense. So being Spike, then. It's a metaphor, duh! The fudge represents the meaning of friendships and sticking by your fellow ponies. The shield balls of frosting tells us how important it is to be kind, and it works here with others. And the 42 minutes in the oven, well, I'm not certain what it's about, but I guess it's the perfect amount of time to get the cake nice and crunchy on the outside, but keep it solid sticky in the middle. Twilight Spike glanced amusedly at each other. Twilight and Spike glanced amusedly at each other as the drool started to leak from Pinky's open mouth. Alright, fine. I guess you must be too young for that one, but I have loads more. Oh, I know. There's lots of more for me, then. Wait! Twilight interjected, Spike's relief. Thanks, Pinky, but I think I can manage now. Pinky shrugged and happily went back to tidying the room, while humming an upbeat tune and munching on her cupcake. Well, she now seemed to have regenerated most of its mass. No, it must have been a new one. But where was she getting them? Twilight shook it from her mind, turned to Spike. Look, Spike, I know you don't like Trixie, but think about it. What do you really know about her? She's an insufferable braggart. Twilight raised an eyebrow at this. What? Shrugged Spike. That's what Rarity calls her. I think you mean insufferable. Twilight chuckled. Yeah, she might seem like that at first glance, but none of us have actually gotten to know her. When we first got to Ponyfield, I thought every pony here was crazy. But look at how wrong I was about them. She threw a nervous glance at Pinkie Pie, who was now shadow boxing with a determined look on her face. Maybe you're right, Twilight, Spike said thoughtfully. Well, how come we're the ones who have to take her in? Because we have a spare room and I've already volunteered us. So there's nothing we can do about it. For the next few months, we'll just have to be open-minded and understanding. Spike got a condescending sigh. Okay, Twilight. I'm sure she'll warm us to us eventually, Spike, she said reassuringly. It's just gonna take some time. I guess so. He went back to the clearing of the bookshelves in silence. Twilight felt a little bad to see him like that, resolving to buy him a couple of rubies later on to cheer him up. Twilight went back to the cleaning. Between the three of them, they gradually moved everything down to the basement. Besides the books, of course, what Twilight managed to fit into the main library. The room was relatively small compared to Twilight and Spike's, and looked rather empty without the bookshelves and study desks. So, under Twilight's instruction, the three of them set about fixing the place up. While Pinky and Spike went down to the basement to find some proper furniture, Twilight used her magic to clear the leaves outside the round window. She had actually never looked out this window before. Beyond it was a beautiful, west-facing view of the town below, filled with various ponies going about their late afternoon business. Bonjour! Bonjour! Bonjour, 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 bonjour! There goes the baker with... Oh, sorry. Spike and Pinky returned to the wooden stool. An old empty dresser, what Spike called a bedside table, was actually just a big tree stump. Midway through rearranging the furniture, Pinky gasped and dashed out the room, returning 5 minutes later with a comfortable-looking one-pony bed. Pinky, where did you get that? Twilight asked. And how did you get it upstairs? It's my old one! I got a new one last week, which is all pink and bouncy fun! We were gonna get this new all one away anyway, so I thought you might as well use it. Twilight took note that Pinky hadn't answered her second question. But the unicorn had a distinct feeling that any answers he would probably just create more confusion. They set about arranging the last of the furniture, then lay back on the red-sheeted bed and admired their work. Hey, it's not half bad, said Spike proudly. But the walls do look a little blank. Yeah, maybe we could put over paint or something, Twilight wondered aloud. How about some streamers? They're always fun. Pinky blew cheerfully on the pine horn in her mouth. The other two looked at her quizzically, but knew better than to ask where she had gotten it. Instead, Twilight chuckled and looked up at the ceiling. I'm not sure streamers are the way to go. Since he's trying to rest up and all, what about... She broke off a flick of sunlight, graced her eyelid, and forced it shut. Twilight felt too comfortable to turn around, so she simply let her head roll backwards on the other side of the bed. Oh, it's already sundown! Exclaimed an upside down Pinky. Looking at the window, she hastily helped her feet, followed by Spike and excited Pinkie Pie. I had to go by and pick up Trixie now, guys. Thanks so much for your help. Okie dokie dokie! Pinky saluted playfully. Don't forget to help me clean up my pie next week. I'm looking forward to it. Twilight smiled back at her. So, Twilight, why didn't you just ask Rarity? Pinky was closer. Okay. Great! See you then! See you later, Spiko! With that, Pinky hopped merrily out the room. Spiko? Repeated the baby dragon. Twilight chuckled and shrugged. Just a Pinky thing, I guess. Anyway, thanks again, Spike. I couldn't have done it without you. She leaned forward and laid a kiss on the baby dragon's forehead. Naturally, he recoiled and started rubbing that swell with his elbow. Twilight! Twilight chuckled as the two of them made their way down the stairs. Sorry, Spike, she said with a smile, though she wasn't sorry. After waving goodbye to Spike, she left the library. Barely 3 seconds had passed before she burst back in, up the stairs, into her new bedroom. She used to focus her magic on the bed, compulsively straightening the untidy, crumpled sheets and tugging them at their sides. Ah, much better, she thought to herself. Dusk was just looming beyond the horizon when Twilight had last reached the medical tent. She had only seen a hoofball of other ponies on her way here, and assumed that most of them were already back home for the evening. Oh, Twilight, you're back, said the cheerful-looking nurse. She laid her clean paw on the ground and trotted over to the purple unicorn. Have you come to collect her? Twilight simply smiled and nodded. She wanted to keep her mouth closed and avoid any more slip-ups. Nurse Radar patted her on the shoulder. It's really considerate for you to do this for her, Twilight. I'm sure she'll appreciate it. Twilight raised eyebrows and said she thought that was fairly doubtful. Well, in time, perhaps. The nurse added uncertainly. Now, wait here and I'll go fetch her. The nurse pressed her way under the folds of the fabric into the tent. Muffled sounds came from inside, and Twilight couldn't help but feel a bit curious. She pressed her ear to the wall of the tent, trying to make her own voices. Yes, she's here. Now you're ready? The great and powerful Trixie does not want to go with Twilight Sparkle. She'd rather stay here in the cold. Now don't be silly. Twilight's a very nice pony. She's going to take good care of you. Why isn't Trixie in a hospital? That's what Trixie wants to know. Oh! A gust of wind blew past Twilight's ear and stifled Trixie's next few words. But in the tone of her voice, Twilight imagined they were not pleasant ones. What was that? Does something for the pain. You'll need it to go across town. The great powerful Trixie does not need your medication. She is not going anywhere. Besides, she can tolerate minor pain with ease. Ow! I wouldn't try moving that foreleg if I were you. Here, let me help you up. I don't need your help. That wasn't an offer. Take your hands off of Trixie. She can take care of herself. Trixie's voice was becoming slow and lazy, as she was falling asleep. A moment later, Nurse Redheart emerged from the tent and held the flap open for Trixie. Twilight wasn't sure what to think when she saw the astral pony stumble clumsily out the evening air, her left foreleg still head to her chest in a wooden cast. Her eyes were droopy, and she was swaying from side to side. She reminded Twilight very much of a certain orange pony during Applebuck season. When she caught sight of Twilight, her mouth twisted succously into a goofy grin. Oh, hello, Twilight Sparkle. She chirruped with a tearful chuckle. Did you know you're all purple? Oh. With that last lazy remark, Trixie toppled over forwards and struck the ground face first, snoring heavily. Twilight looked up at the nurse in shock, but to her surprise, the white pony was giggling. Why did you do that? Don't worry, Twilight. That's just the Sanders cooking in. I thought this way would be easier to get her to cooperate. She'll come to in about 12 hours. But when she does, just remind her to take it easy for a while. Isn't that a little unethical? Twilight said worriedly, forgetting her mouth closed, no slip ups idea. No, Twilight, I'm with you on this! That's a little unethical! You're not supposed to do that! This is weird! What's up with her? I know what I'm doing, Twilight. She'll thank me after a good night's sleep. And so will you, I suspect. Now, would you like a hope to getting her home? That's all right. I got her. Twilight, run. Running. I'll be right behind you. Twilight aimed her horn at the comic go fly over as her pony and magically looked her in the air. Trixie snored, giggled faintly as she rose, with drool began to appear in her mouth. The purple unicorn couldn't help but smile. She did look kind of cute. Whoops! Twilight caught Trixie just before she hit the ground, threw a nervous glance at Nurse Redheart, hoping she didn't just see that. With the way Nurse Redheart is acting, I'd be scared too. White Pony simply gave her a knowing smile and said, Good night, Twilight. As he trotted out towards the library, Twilight kept Trixie suspended a short distance ahead of her. Warm orange luminescence flooded over the town as Celestia's sun began to sink beyond the western horizon. Twilight was far too tired to enjoy it as much as she would have liked, but she did smile at the glow it gave to herself. Trixie and the single straight butterflies fluttered past. Bonk! Oh, stupid door frame, muttered Twilight. Trixie didn't wake. She just mumbled something unintelligible as Twilight took a step back and lowered her through the doorway. Spike was just coming out of the kitchen, wearing a dark blue nightrobe and carrying a mug of what was presumably hot milk. The second he caught sight of Trixie, he burst into uncontrollable laughter, spraying a mouthful of liquid halfway across the room. You put a sleeping spell on her? Great thinking, Twilight. I didn't do this, Twilight said defensively. Nurse Redheart sedated her. Spike sickered again. Well, then she's a genius. Spike, you're not watching my wingtip, but I'm giving you a bird over here. Twilight rolled her eyes as the baby dragon continued to chortle to himself. It wasn't that funny. Come on, time for bed. Twilight led the way, careful to keep the hovering Trixie away from the floor, walls, and ceiling, which was even more difficult than it sounded. It took a fair bit longer than usual, but she made it to the wall, a small landing halfway between the top and bottom floors. There on the left entrance was lit out by Trixie's bedroom. Call it up, Spike. Twilight called back as he carried Trixie to her doorway. I'll be there in a minute. The baby dragon nodded and complied while Twilight made her way to Trixie's bed. Carefully, she pulled back the seats and lowered the sleeping unicorn's head softly under the pillow. Trixie frowned and muttered as Twilight released her spell. The purple unicorn magically pulled the dove down to Trixie's chin and tucked in the sides. Afterwards, the frown under her nose shifted into a bright smile. Twilight took a step back and stared for a moment. There was something about Trixie's face right then and there gave her a pause. She looked utterly serene. Like she didn't have a care in the world. Like her injuries weren't even there. Just completely at peace. The expression was both enduring and inspiring. Twilight generally considered simply staying to watch for a while. She then smiled and shook her head dismissively. The last thought of trying out the horn was, I'd probably look the same if I had to spend a day with a horse tranquilizer.